While the world is still shocked by the high reciprocal tariffs announced by US President Donald Trump, he is not the first president to try to solve America's wide trade deficit by disrupting the global order. He is actually the third president to do so. But first, let us see why the US repeatedly gets into large trade deficits. The reason lies at least partly in the US dollar being the world's reserve currency. Here's how it works. India needs dollars to pay for imports not just from the US, we also need dollars to pay for imports from Europe, from China, Middle East, and indeed from anywhere. So does almost every other country. As a result, we want to try and run a trade surplus with the US, or we try to attract dollars by way of capital investments from foreign funds. And so do every other country. The net result is the US is forced into a deficit with most trading partners. No, this doesn't mean the US is an injured party suffering to promote world trade. The privilege of the US is that when it faces a deficit, it merely prints dollars. After all, countries don't hold their dollars as cash. They invest it in US government bonds. So, the US government runs up a fiscal deficit and prints bonds which all countries buy. And thus, the US finances its fiscal and trade deficit almost for free. It only pays the interest. Most countries envy this huge advantage for the US. A French finance minister, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, called it the exorbitant privilege. Economist Barry Eichengreen explained that whereas every other country has to earn $100 by producing goods and services worth that amount, the US merely has to bear the printing charges of printing $100. The disadvantage for the US is that every country wants to devalue its currency versus the dollar. This is particularly hurtful when the country is going through an economic downturn, like, say, a war or a global financial crisis. The typical reaction of global investors is to flee to the safest asset, namely the US dollar or US bonds. So the dollar strengthens during a crisis and makes it tougher for the US to extricate itself. The other big disadvantage for the US is that US manufacturers lose to other countries because the rivals devalue their currency. Germany and Japan outclassed US manufacturers from the 60s to the 80s. China has been killing US manufacturing from the 90s, in part by keeping the yuan cheap. But let's get to the beginning of how the US dollar became the exchange currency of the world. The world needed a globally accepted currency more and more only after the First World War, when rising industrialization and improved transport greatly increased global trade. Until World War II, countries were paying each other through pound sterling or gold or French francs in the French colonies. But post the Second World War, Europe was so decimated that the US dollar became the default medium of exchange. Under the Bretton Woods system, the US promised to repay every dollar with an equivalent amount of gold at the rate of $35 for a troy ounce of gold. However, as the US printed dollars recklessly throughout the 60s, partly to fund Vietnam War and other anti-communist wars, and also to fund rising global trade, it ran short of gold to back every dollar. And finally, in 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the gold standard and the Bretton Woods system. A kind of floating rate of dollar versus major currencies replaced the Bretton Woods system, but dollar remained the global reserve currency, and the need to run up trade deficits versus the US remained. Through the 70s and 80s, Japanese and to some extent German goods were fast beating US goods in their own market. accumulated deficits once again became a burden for the United States. And in 1985, America arm twisted Japan and Europe, more particularly Germany, to sign a Plaza Accord, which forced Japan and Germany to upvalue their currencies vis-a-vis the dollar. The dollar was depreciated by over 25% in just 1 year versus the Deutsche Mark and the yen. And now we stand in 2025 with much the same situation. US deficits sky high and US manufacturing outclassed by Chinese goods. This time, Donald Trump doesn't have the clout that US had in 1985 with Japan and Germany, two countries that the US had protected with their armed forces and helped rebuild from the ravages of the Second World War. Also, now central banks' reserve dollars aren't so huge to distort financial markets by dollar selling. Global trade and global financial markets are too huge for any central bank to meaningfully appreciate or depreciate their currencies. The US has to bully its way through threats of high tariffs to bring down its deficit and try to bring back manufacturing into the United States. In its favor, one has to add that a viable alternative to the dollar as the global reserve currency has also not emerged. And here's one more thought. If we are all shocked by the sky-high tariffs announced by Donald Trump and his constant pausing and reimposing tariffs, rest assured, this chaos is much smaller than when the US ended the gold standard. That was a huge shock. But we don't remember because most of us were not around. So how will high reciprocal tariffs work to end US deficits and still keep the dollar as the reserve currency? That discussion on another day. Thank you for watching us on CNBC TV 18. For all news and updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch us on all social media platforms.